Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sprack. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boys Petey and Cal. Say what's up, gents.
What's going
Yo,
on?
ready to rock.
So Disney has finally done it. They're going all hog into webtoons, hoping to make some money for Marvel. So they're bringing over 100 of their titles into the webtoon comic app. I mean, before they've already had a couple testing the waters. Now they're going all hog into it. Yo, gents, what do you guys think of it? I'm gonna
Well,
pass it on to
hold
Petey.
on. Hold on. I'm just going to ask if Mars, for the people, if you can just tell the people what a webtoon actually is, so they can differentiate between a comic book and a like a cartoon. What exactly is a webtoon?
It's a digital comic, I mean, online, basically. So you wouldn't be getting no physical media. You just go online to read it through. I think the actual company's called Webtoons, right?
So these are just digit. So webtoons are just digital comics.
But it's digital comics, yes.
Okay, cool.
So, Petey,
Pass it.
what's your take on this?
No, well, Webtoons has a different sort of entertainment in there. Not to say I would love for the Marvel stuff to translate over to it, but what's working for it and adding the Disney stuff, we'd have to see how that's gonna go. But it's more in the I think in the sense of like, well, I can't say because I don't know, only overhearing it, but there's a different fare of entertainment. Now, the thing is, Disney could decide to start to make new things, but I think the thing that they want to do is take the comic books and put it on there. But I think at first, before you try to, you know, delve in so many comics which are long form stories, is try to figure out how this is going to work for them, and then will it change into turning, Spider-Man into something more in the Asian type of thing, um, or something like that, something that's outside of what we normally see. That's the thing. I'm gonna take a quick look at webtoons and then bring it back up here, but to see what they got, we can look at it. But people feel that this is going to be the end of Marvel. They're going to stop doing comics since Diamond is gone. So, what do you guys feel about that?
I think
Mm,
that, all right, Cal, what you think?
no, go ahead.
I said I think that there's always a market for physical media. I mean, there's been a comeback in physical media such as DVDs, CDs, albums, books. I've seen books that people want that they're physical books, but it may be the way it's going to go for a lot of the casual readers. Is because I think that's what they really want. They want you younger readers, and that's going to be the platform where there is already a whole bunch of stuff out there. Webtoons makes money. They give the creators part of the money, and I guess they probably have some type of monetization deal with Marvel. And I think this is supposed to be part of the whole Marvel Unlimited um, package that they already give out. I don't know if it's going to be separate. They're going to have separate just for webtoons, or whether it all be just included in the same thing. But it's interesting. They have to get new. They have to get younger readers, and webtoons does have a younger readership.
So, here's the Disney, what they have on here now.
Yeah,
So, and we see, well, we're going to their more popular stuff at first. I'll just show that quickly. You see this sort of romance type of thing, kind of anime romance is
yeah.
the most popular stuff. And then they had superheroes here. I'll say this way. This probably be a better way to look at it. So they have Miles Morales. We got Daredevil. Let's see what else. But we see there's other things out here. Outrageous. Is that the thing that Fabian Nasienza was talking to us about? Um, so it might. Oh, Red Hook is here. So it might need some new material or taking the old material like the Batman animated series and kind of formatting it for this.
Well, they are. Sorry, they said that they're gonna um, reformat some of the stuff, particularly for mobile devices, and they're gonna probably change some of the stories up that they have. They may change some of the stories up, to make it a little more appealing to, I guess, younger webtoons viewers. I guess is what they're talking about.
This would be perfect. When you start the spinner rack webtoon, everybody will know what they are, and we can just drive everybody to it.
Here you go.
Interesting. I wonder if they have affiliate commissions on that.
No, I already checked out the website, for one of the places where they one of the more popular places for it. It's pretty viable. It's well, the biggest thing is cost. The biggest thing is cost because you can do stuff in a webtoon. You can do stuff with the webtoon and people will accept it, where I don't think they will accept it on paper. On paper, paper needs to be a certain quality, colors need to be a certain quality, those type of things for the tactile and the visual experience. But for some reason with the webtoon, you can do like half of that. Or with the anime, oh, none of it. And people just turn up. It makes comic books what they were originally when they first came out. It makes them disposable. So at one point, in one instance, they're disposable. I don't care about this. I can just throw it around. It doesn't really have any value. But at the same time, it's eternal. I can always go back and read it anytime I want because it's on the net. I don't have to preserve it. I don't have to put it in a polyurethane bag and store it. So, it works both ways. It's disposable and at the same time, it's always accessible. However, the big thing for a guy like me is that this has no value. Digital stuff has no value whatsoever. If you think a comic book has no value and it's just a bunch of nerds who are going around putting these high prices for things, out of being collectors, okay. But in this, you're putting on a value on something that you can't even touch. That you can't even, if you were to print a copy, it would be absolutely worthless because you can print out a trillion copies if you want. So for me, I'm comfortable with webtoons because it'll just make physical copies more valuable.
I can't agree with you, I think it's especially the way it's formatted. Like I look at the digital comics on Comixology, and it's like you're basically the comic and you're basically moving from pane to pane. And it's not always great, but the way this scroll, what we were just looking at, and I've seen some stories, but never seen the Marvel stories in Webtoons because when we go to the con, Webtoons used to have a big booth where they were trying to get creators to join up and do their own thing. And you can do that. But it was pretty cool the way PD was going down. Like wow, I was able to really read the story. Whereas before in Comixology, I'm always like it's like you're basically giving me the same pains from a comic, and it doesn't fit into the phone or the format that I'm using. And this works it just moves real nice and smooth. And I'm like okay, I can do this.
That I don't like that panel by panel. I don't like the panel by panel format. I think, especially me as a comic reader, been reading comics for forever. I like the full page, and I decide what I'm going to focus on. Even I get to see the whole page at the same time I'm focusing on a panel. I'm used to that. So I don't like the whole idea that my gaze has to be directed here and then has to be directed here, and I can't get a full shot of the page. That I don't. I find that a little bit disjointing. But modern readers, I don't think they have the same issue.
No, I have the same. I do prefer the full page, like you said. But the thing is that like on your phone, you got to pinch it open and pinch it close, pinch it open, pinch it close,
I
as
only
opposed to here.
I only read it on a laptop.
Oh, okay.
I won't read it on a phone. If I'm doing something like I'm answering a question for somebody or doing some research for something, phone is fine. But for I just find the experience is it's already should be a comic, and I have so little time to actually read a comic, or I'm trying to preserve my collection that I'll read something digital. And to then go from the actual comic to something digital and then to something as small as it can be on my phone is that's just one step too far for me. So it's got to be on a laptop.
Mhm. So I mean, and I think the key thing here is that it's going to bring, like you just said, it'll bring people in, right? We need people who are the new readers. I think the old days it used to be like the golden books or something like that, where it'll bring young readers into the stories and stuff. Now this is just a new on ramp for new, you know, people who want to consume this particular content.
Well,
Um,
if you want, if you, I don't know, we have seen what new readers will buy. What was the big thing we saw that got a whole bunch of new readers, younger readers to buy? They
Absolute
just put it
Batman.
in a manga. They put it in a manga format.
Mm.
They put it in a manga format. And here's the thing though, because you will still get newer readers who come out for the webtoons, but they still they still buy plenty of print content.
Yes.
They go and they buy all the manga stuff. The manga stuff is 100% disposable. They don't hold on to this stuff. They're done with. They may keep it for a while, but they're done with it. Whatever, because it's serialized so heavy. There's so many volumes. There's no one particular volume at the end of the day. It's not like American comics, if you will, but they're still buying it in print. What is the big difference? The format. It's smaller, it's more durable than an American comic, and there's a lot more content in it than the standard 20-page American comic. So what did they? I mean, look how successful it was. Look how and they didn't print out new material. This was all old stuff. Batman, Hush, All Star Superman, and they ate it up. So you have your answer right there. I don't. You can still. I mean, still do webtoons. Go into all the different mediums that are available. But you know what you need to do in order to get the new readers in. This is not a this is not a riddle.
Yeah, the only thing I'm afraid of is the independent comic shops, right?
Mhm.
Look, the reality is now what Marvel is going to do is they're going to give anybody who wants to do a comic. Well, I'm just throwing that out. I'm not saying that they're going, but they're going to test the
Good, give it to me.
concept. They're going to test the comic out, right? See how it was in the webtoons, and if it performs, then and only then will they have the financial risk to actually do an actual comic, right? This way, if something's not working, hey, it was just digital anyway, so we can kill it. Doesn't have to continue, right?
Uh,
And so
I'm not
then
sure about that.
I think that's going to happen. Then you're going to have the comic book stores, I think, which have already been consolidating, will probably have to consolidate even more,
All right.
for them
Well,
to
here,
survive and diversify.
put your business cap on for me just for a second. Okay. So let's say you give me, say, here, we're going to give you, try this webtoon out. All right. So we're going to put the webtoon out at the end of the day. The webtoon does very, very well. Okay, great. So now we're going to do a printed form. So then the question from the higher ups is going to be, wait a second, wait a second. Why is anybody going to pay for this in printed form when they can just access it for free here?
I mean, unless you do like a trade paperback, right? Probably they'll do smaller trade paperback, like probably three or
Even
four
then,
hundred one, you know?
I mean, at one point, right now, I'm able to access a ton of comics. Almost any comic I want, I can go online and I can access it for free. There's all these places online where you can read comics for free. Okay, some are more reputable than others, but I can read them for free. For those of you going out there, be careful. Be careful, because some of these places, you click the wrong thing, you don't have a computer anymore. So that would be the case on some of them, but overall, you can find places I can read it for free. And hey, there's a bunch of stuff I could care less about. I don't even care to take the time to read it, let alone download it. But there are comics when I read them, I'm like, hey, I actually want to purchase this. I want to own this. But that's such a rare amount. That's such a rare amount at the end of the day. I'm talking new material or something I get turned on to. So now this is a new webtoon. Okay, it's very popular. People read it. It's got all these downloads, all this. Okay, great. So now I think trade paperback would be the right way to go. But then it becomes like, well, all right, you made the test over here, but why is anybody going to pay for this when they can access it for free? That would be the bigger question. There has to be something where in the paid content, there has to be something about that is perishable. And that's one of the things that we have with the printed material. This is perishable. The digital stuff isn't. That lives forever. But the printed material is perishable. So there has to be something about, all right, the print run's going to be limited. It's going to have some extra content in there. This is black and white, but this is in color. There has to be something to justify people actually spending money for a product that you can get for free. At least that's where one of the things that I would definitely keep in mind.
I agree with you. I think that you're 100% spot on. I think they're going to have to be that value proposition, right? So, I mean, someone's going to read it on the web and they're going to say, hey, if I want to buy the new Absolute Batman, is it enough? Or will I need to do something? Or will I need to there has to be an additional proposition in terms of cost, in terms of, yes, you have a group who will buy no matter because they like physical media, but I tend to look at it like the YA authors, right? The young adult, which is a pretty booming group in literature, not in literature, but in the whole publishing business, where you have everybody has phones and they're reading it on phones, and then they come out and then you see them standing online for some of these authors, and they're getting these books, and these books have these big books. They have like special printed editions and artwork and what do you call it, coloring books, all connected to it, almost like a Kickstarter sometimes, right? Where you go to the Kickstarter, they have different levels of extras that you can have. I think Marvel's going to have to do that. I mean, they're doing it with variant covers. Like, hey, you can get this physical media with a variant cover made by such and such. It's not part of it. And I think that's the way it's going to have to work in terms of, I see it working definitely for trades. I just don't know how you do that on a continuous business, on a continual basis, unless it's like one of the big titles like Spider-Man and Batman. But I don't think you can have all those different versions. Like right now, let's say you have 5 versions of different X-Men, Gold, Red, or whatever. Now you can limit it just, hey, we're going to come out only monthly with these 2 X-Men titles, and everything else will be on Webtoons. Now, if it hits on Webtoons, then we'll start making it too. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
I'll say this just to your point is that I think it's still open. Looking at what the contents here, we already have. It doesn't seem. Let's see what's the safest thing to look at. It seems like some of this stuff. I think it's probably made for the medium. Well, maybe
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
well, this one is doesn't. It seems like the same thing as stuff that's chopped up. So right now it's the same way where comic books take strips and kind of put it into this web thing. I think is the way things are going because they're already doing for video. They're taking smaller content and they're doing a whole bunch of like soap opera type stories. And if you have someone that comes in and says, "Let me do some new stuff that's fit right for this format," the same thing that the original Superman, it was some comics before that, but it's saying like what when it really hit big was in Action Comics and saying take what we were doing here and just do it for real. Like they redid the whole book to make it into something and redesigned it for the comic book. Why not take this and not just cut that and put the dialogue up? Because everything is digital now, so you've already digitized that stuff. So you're playing with that. That's gonna be your moneymaker. But I really would like to see, you know, something where they figure this format out because like this is crazy. This is a great picture, but like the thought balloon being that far up on the page is just like they kind of need like what Stanley was talking about with balloon placement. He's trying to figure this stuff out, figure the dynamics of it, really make it work.
Well, I think that's why the
Yeah,
younger
I
people
could.
like the scroll.
Yeah, I could not be bothered to read this. Not
Oh,
like this.
easy, very easy. You know,
This is so. I don't know. This is like for me having to go through that. This would be like I can't read. No, this would almost be like I have a learning disability or something for me to have to sit through this. I couldn't do it.
it's so strong.
Like sort of like here, it seems like the stuff that we've learned as far as lettering and that sort of thing, they're kind of throwing this some of this like this kind of works, but it's not the best
No,
fonts. That's
this would be like being in like the bathroom stall and somebody wrote like a whole bunch of like a message on toilet paper.
Well, look, it is, and I think, but it's successful because it's a format that lends itself to scrolling up vertical as opposed to traditional left to right.
But that
Uh,
defeats the
uh,
medium.
right.
This is not directed at you, but that defeats the medium of a comic book. That defeats the medium. A comic book is not. It's not a comic strip where you're just going to have that left to right motion going at the end of the day, and the whole thing has to be done within a certain number of panels, unless it's Sunday. The comic book is able to achieve things that you can't achieve in prose writing or on a standard portrait. It's a melding of all of that. And when you put it into something where, okay, this isn't even left right anymore. This is top to bottom.
Yep.
And it's just scrolling. Could you imagine you're doom scrolling a comic book? That is so reductive, and it defeats the purpose of the explosiveness of a comic book. I mean, how do you really take in something like, how do you understand Jack Kirby's art and it's just doom scrolling it? You know, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Petey on this one where they really got to sort this out because why would I want to read this? Where's the dynamism in the art? Unless somebody can really figure out, okay, if people are going to be reading from top to bottom, and I'm going to have much smaller space to work with, how am I going to make these visuals, that much more enticing?
Well,
That
he's
they're
shown
going to
us.
want to keep, huh?
He's shown us some of these things here. He's shown us here. You have like the
Where?
Avengers. You
What's the good
see one of
stuff?
the,
Because that wasn't
like
it.
the Daredevil. Why don't you go to the Avengers, which has so
Uh,
many,
okay, I'm going to push back on that again, not directed at you, but why would I want to read Daredevil in this format when I know it's going to be better if I read it in the full page format?
No, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I
Is
think that
this the Daredevil comic?
No, this is the Avengers.
Avengers,
Okay, so
which
this
was
is
more
what,
pop.
panel 1,
Yeah,
panel 2. Oh, good grief! I'm not gonna sit through this.
Well,
You
I'll
got to be
say,
kidding me!
I think it
see,
works.
no, I think that the lettering
This is like a
better
prison.
for
This is like a
Marvel
prison
comic.
comic.
Jesus.
No, I think the lettering for this works better because it's already planned. They're already just taking what they had.
Look at
and
all
doing
that
more.
negative
The
space.
negative space, yes, that's
There is.
Look at all that negative space. How does that work for a comic?
yeah, they got things to work out to figure out on this. But
Well, I mean, look, the question is, is this really for us, or is it for someone else who's used to doing that type of scrolling, right? So probably for you, you will not continue to that. But
Hold
at
on, hold
the
on. Go
same
back
time,
up. Go back up for a second. Go down. Keep going down. Just a little slower. I'll let you know when to stop. Keep going. Keep going.
got 'em.
Keep going. Yeah, right here. Right here. Right here. You see this right over here? This is artwork. This is artwork that needs to be consumed in totality, with the human eye, not scrolled from top to bottom. This is designed that you're going to be able to take this in with one, all at once. Scroll down a little more.
sorry, going down.
Keep going. Keep going. I'll let you know when to stop. Keep going. Right here. Right there. Right there. Go back up. And this, okay, I don't know if this is a splash page or anything of that
It
nature,
looks like it's a
but
spot.
this is supposed to be, look at the visual. How is this visual right over here supposed to be what? Someplace in the cosmos, planets and so on and so forth. How is this being rendered in this medium to the point that it's enticing to the eye? It's not.
Yeah, if they knew they were
I
going to
think
be
it's
like
okay.
this, it would be done differently. It would be done way differently.
I know you think it's okay, and I know why.
Younger,
So,
younger audience gets it.
so you want to close this out?
Okay. All right. Cool. So if you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. Comment. Tell us what you like. You think is this something that can work or not work? Okay. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, spin a rack.
We are.
Yep. Later days.
We're out.